Hello. So, deserving, brilliant start, Rob. Brilliant start. So I'm going to do something a little different today. Just checking through what I've done with these. I have just, that's going to be it. I've got a Driver's Gordon one. Diesel is all done. Emily is no progress at all. I spent ages driving as Emily last time. Yeah, this game still has a few bugs. The bug patch update thingy has dropped. They're going to drop that on Monday, so we've got until Monday to enjoy all of that. So I'm going to do something a little different to start off, and then I'll do something a bit more interesting after that. We're going to we'll do early start. So, this weekend, I'm going to be helping out at an event on the nearby railway. I am going to be mildly cryptic, more just because I don't know what their rules are on that kind of stuff, and I don't want to find out. 20 troublesome trucks, grey plus brake van. Excellent. I still need to download it myself. Can I even fit this train anywhere? Yes. Good. It's a fun game. Honestly, I've got it on computer because that's what I do. Right, so Diesel. Now, I think Diesel has an option that spawns with brake vans. 3 brake vans. 5 brake vans! What does that even look like? Like, I know what it looks like, but more just the... Well, I'm not quite sure why, but yeah. So I'm going to be helping out with some brake van rides. So that should be fun. I've been on the brake van ride myself, so, that's a thing. I have no idea what the track setup is going to be like, so what I'm going to do, just to make this a little bit less boring for everyone involved... oh, what are the points even set as? I don't know. We'll find out. Can I spawn the train, please? No? Okay, we can spawn the train there. Right. So, let's try and keep myself inside the yard limits for now. What are the points set as? Correct. Excellent. So, yeah, not going to use one of the big engines because the rail I'm going to is having a diesel gala. And... no, wrong button. They will be running exclusively diesel trains for the duration of the weekend. Now... I've spawned in that diesel parked on a set of points. So that was clever. So I'm going to leave this diesel right here. Open everything possible on the way out. I'm going to get this diesel. And back up. So I have no idea where I am on the points. I will do some more conventional missions after this. This is more just I want to mess about a bit before I start doing anything more properly. And, give people a chance that if they're really keen to drop by, they can. And if not, then, well, they're not missing out. Right, so that's the point set. So now I'm going to go scoop up Diesel 2. Hello, Castleberg. Now, should I turn the brake van round so the lamp is facing outwards? I think the answer to that is going to be yes. Come on. There we go. So we're going to go quickly turn the brake van around. Now, I have tried it before with having the diesels facing towards or away from each other. It doesn't work. At least it didn't last time I tried it, because depending on which one you're driving, they don't agree on which way they should be going. So, am I set onto the turntable? Yes. I don't have an option to do that, so it's a case of he's got as much fuel as he has, and that seems to work. So I'm going to quickly turn this brake van around, using my definitely not a class 13. And then if I can, I'm going to take this up to the quarry. We're going to see how that goes. That's 8 cam. I'm going to have to use this set of controls because they're different to the controls for that. You gonna let me? You're not going to do it this time? Last time I tried this, it worked. Huh. Okay, well, last time I tried that, that worked. What even is the button I'm going for? There we go. You'd think I hadn't played this game. Grumble. Yep. Really? Okay, well, we're going the long way around. Let's, right. That was more difficult than it should have been. There we go. So that's diesel pulled off the turntable. Now I can turn this van round. Now I could have just turned it by spawning it in the other way around, but that would be too easy. Yeah, no, it's not going to be helping out on brake van rides, so I'm going to try and dress suitably for the time period, which is going to be slightly more difficult because my wardrobe does not really go for, you know, 1950s. Not even the wardrobe itself. Do I have to keep holding this? Yes. Excellent. Well, this is fun. Yeah, so that's going to be quite a long day by the look of it. I think about 7 hours nearly. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that all day or if that'll be a in turns. I don't know. I need to remember to get lunch. And yeah, I also need to make sure I get there early because I want to be there early because I need to talk to the other guy that's going to be doing it and, you know, be like, hi, I exist. Have you seen Squirrel UK? I've seen red squirrels down in the south, and I think some up in the north as well. And you see a lot of grey squirrels around, which are the North American ones. Oh, really, turntable? Really? I can't see where I'm landing. That it? Okay. And yes, there's a good chance that I'm going to be spending a lot of my Saturday in a brake van like this. In theory, there is also trains happening tomorrow and I think Sunday. However, I'm only doing the Saturday because, yeah, that's what was required. Probably should have checked that actually. Probably a bit too late to email him now, or at least I can message him and, you know, inquire if Sunday is a better day for it. Well, Sunday I think is a worse day for me because I've got a bit of get there. And as I was attempting to say, the first train is the first train down is just beforehand, so I don't want to be on that train from Loughborough. Said where it is now. Never mind. I don't want to try and. I want to try and be there before that happens, which means I need to try and get a bus, and then that's the whole thing. I mean, it's not subtle. I've said many times I work at the Great Central. However, oh, bloody hell! All right. Well, that worked. Oh, I'm over here. Okay. So, now we need to do the path. Set path. I'm going to go all the way to... Ooh, do I go to Knapford Yard? I don't think the loop's big enough. I could go to Knapford. It's not Knapford. Tidmouth. Yeah, I could go to Tidmouth and run there. I genuinely don't know if there's space at Knapford Yard. Let's try it. I can always change my plan. So this might take a minute, because diesel is slow. Alright then. There we go, so we've got the vans facing in and out at both ends, so when I run around the train later I don't need to shunt the van. So I've got... Oh, green as I approach, excellent. Right, will I be able to achieve line speed? Will I regret not using, you know, Gordon? Yep, nice sunrise on Vicarstown. I don't always say it. I normally say it, but I don't always say it. We're going through platform 1, which implies we're going to cross over here. Which is weird, because you'd think they'd have put me... Oh, no, through platform 2. Alright. Ah, am I being put onto the fast? That'd be why. Well, I've got the signal, and I'm doing way over speed, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Driving under speed limit? I don't think so, game. Maybe where diesel specifically is, but the train is long. So this is probably going to be quite boring, but I thought I would have the opportunity to chat a bit. I have driven Thomas quite a lot, yes. I think I've done all of his challenge missions as well. You've probably got some noise in the background. I've got 3 printers on at the moment because I've had several orders arrive today. I'm making a whale at the moment for somebody. I've got a shark ready to go, hopefully, unless they want one of the different ones. And I posted a sea cow earlier, so I'm having quite a nice day. I'm feeling suspiciously good. So yeah, there it goes. 20 wagons. Now 20 wagons doesn't sound like that much until you see it there. So let's set it to diesel cam. So I've got 17 miles to go. Let's see if I make it. As an aside, if I do fail the mission, I will be moving on to something else rather than trying to do it again, because let's not put you through that. Again, I'm going to have a fairly strict out time, as I've got a podcast I want to watch at 8 o'clock. And I've got some other work I probably should be doing, but I thought, you know what, I've worked quite a lot today on actual work, not just watching the printers. So I'm going to have a bit of a relax. I mean, it may be an option in some future DLC or updates to, you know, have coal and water requirements. But without all the infrastructure for it, like for water there's the infrastructure, for coal less so, unless you always have to go to the shed. Oh, excuse me. And I don't think there's any fueling points for diesel. So I am struggling to get to 30 miles an hour. But that's fine. I actually got a quite a lot of a tan from yesterday, so that's useful, hopefully. Hopefully it will remain as a tan and not go to a burn. I'm going to try and be dressed fairly proper for Saturday. Might see about taking satchel rather than me backpack, but then again I'll probably just chuck it under the seat in the van. Approaching Henry's Tunnel. Still approaching Henry's Tunnel. This might take a while. Oh yeah, that was a thing. I have, as of I think this morning, me attempting to be a productive person, I have gotten all 5 of my dogfish painted at long last. It only took 4 years, I think. 2022, 2021. It was a while ago that I built them. They've been mostly painted. I've just now they've got wheels, axle boxes, couplings, buffers that have been refurbished. And they're all sign written, so they should look quite nice. I just need an excuse to run them. I think next up on the list is... Ooh, well, it's the question of, do I go for stuff that's slightly built and painted, or stuff that is on the pile of stuff that's in the way? Because those are 2 separate lists. So I've got a load of big 100-ton tanks that I should probably get round to painting, but they're more of a faff to run. Whereas I think my 40-ton hopper collection is probably a good candidate for at least getting them all serviceable and then start trying to do the detailing. So I've got 2 that I've done all the tops panels on, and I've got several others that I need to get finished. Have a nice collection of Dutch stock for next time I'm running outside, as I'll have my 31, possibly the 47, although I'm torn on what I want to do with the 47. 47, sorry. I have questions for you. Where is Lady the Magic Engine? Not in this game, as we have discussed previously. In this game you have Thomas, Gordon, James, Percy, Diesel, and Emily. They may add others in future, but for now, that's all there is. That's kind of a nice view. That's pretty much going to be my... well, not from this angle. You can ride in the brake van. And at some point I'm going to do a stream that is just me doing the brake van ride down the line. The problem is, the brake van is only at one end of the train, so unless I can add an extra one in, it's going to be only the view from Knapford to Vickerstown, because you won't be able to see much out of the other view. Unless you just sit in the engine and watch the engine point of view. But I thought that might be a nice thing to do, especially if it's the in-traffics, you get other trains passing and what have you. Yeah. Part of me is, the part of me that's always doing this is going, oh, it would be kind of nice to build another set of my coal wagons, but in the wooden style. Because I've got the drawing. It would not be difficult to do. It would cost me quite a lot of money to get all the wheels, but other than that, it would be quite easy to make a set of these in the wooden style, rather than my steel body ones. However, if I do that, I need to finish all my steel body ones first, and make at least one more breakdown. And I think if I was going to do wooden bodied ones, I'd probably do them as internal user ones, so they'd have the big X painted on them for the not to run on the main line. I've answered your question, she's not in the game. and I don't know if she'll be added, because honestly the Magic Railroad is kind of not really a thing outside of the film itself and Diesel 10 existing. No, I've got a few trains that I'm going to try and run this summer, because I've got my timber set, and that will look really good with my Scottish 37. I just need to get them all refurbished. The same with a lot of my wagons, is just get them refurbished, have them painted nicely, job done. Although with the 37, because it's quite a big loco, I don't know if I'd run just the 7 timber wagons I've got. I might run maybe some of the other Speedlink stuff, like a few of the vans. Although I'm actually, that's how words go. I will hopefully at some point in the next couple of weeks be getting one of my VEAs back that a nice gentleman has kindly offered to paint for me. So that will be very nice to have another one of the ones painted by him. You seem to have a sentence fragment there, Castleburr. The I wish was in the game. You've missed out the, I believe, the noun? Is it the noun? I'm terrible at these things. Timber yard. Interesting. I hope at some point they add, you know, there's a lot of stuff I've seen discussed, but one of the things I really want to add is more variety of rolling stock. Because having, you know, having a train that goes past the timber yard and you can drop off empty timber wagons and get loaded ones back. That sounds fun. To me, at least. There we go. So this is going to take a while, because we've got 15 miles to go, and I'm doing a top speed so far of about 40 miles an hour, which means it'll take about 25 more minutes to finish the journey, and that's, I believe, as the crow flies, not just the actual distance. So it's probably going to be taking a while, and this is probably quite boring to watch. However, if I was able to stand in the van, I think I'd have a reasonably nice view down. Like, look at that sunrise. Nice. Huh. Okay, if you zoom in, the shadows disappear. That's kind of weird. So we're now north of Croven's... not north. West of Croven's Gate, so it's back to 2 lines for a bit. Oh, double track, I should say. Oh, that reminds me. It's not bad, actually. I got some new paint for painting the brake van. And I've got Scrag Brown, which looks to be about the right colour to do it a bit more accurately. Because as much as the varnished wood look sort of works, it came out kind of messy, and I thought, I'm not going to try and do it again. I'll just use a solid colour rather than trying to use an ink wash. Oh, I am really losing speed here. What will Diesel and Diesel do? The good news is, for all the people who like to complain about such things, I will be reversing all the way up the Farquhar branch if I can. If I get that far. Because unless I turn Diesel and Diesel round, they're going to be facing the wrong way. And I don't think I can be bothered to turn them round, because I don't know if they'll fit on the turntable together, and if they don't, then I'm definitely not going to bother. Yes, there's challenges still to do. I need to drive around a lot. And my issue with some of them is, it's not that I don't want to do it, it's when it doesn't register that you've just been driving for half an hour, and then the next mission is to drive again for half an hour. And it's like, oh, that's a bit... I mean, you know, it's not the worst thing, it's just a bit like, oh, well... I mean, I had fun doing it, but I was hoping to get the the game to recognise it too. Oh, 27, we're losing more speed. This is quite a steep grade, this is why I brought 2 diesels, not 1. Well, you said previously that your favourite episode was Old Iron. I've not really seen a lot of the TV series, I won't lie. I am one of these terrible old people that has read the books, but not really seen the TV show. And the newer episodes I find strange. You know what I really should paint next? I really should paint my crane. Because it's sitting there being massive and requiring attention. And if I remember correctly, it has white and black lining, which is going to be a massive pain to do to some extent. Because in theory I can do the white lining with a paint pen rather than a gel pen, and then do the black lining over the top. But it's still a lot of stuff to line out. But I need to get on with it, because it's this massive centerpiece thing for my, like, layout, exhibition, whatever you want to describe it for. And I really should just get on with it. What else have I got on the really should get painted pile? I should finish painting all my Suburbans. I've already discussed the 40-ton hopper situation. I've got a number of vans I've been building. It's mostly I want to get stuff that I've built a while ago finished. And then after that I can work on finishing newer stuff, because while it's not got wheels in it, it's what's the word? It's not such a priority. What do you need help with then, Mark? Or is this you're going to message me about it? And I think I've said previously, in regards to like my sort of default answer of what's my favourite engine, I'm probably saying Mavis. Although I'm leaning more sort of towards Henry in more recent time. I mean, Edward's a solid all-round character, but you know, Edward's the sort of easy choice. Oh, speed restriction coming up. Will I get that fast in time? Oh yeah, they're changing it so that the lampposts and stuff aren't going to have collisions soon. So only stuff like buildings and bridges will actually interrupt the camera. Because that gets a bit... Ooh. Well, 30 wasn't too fast through those points, but it didn't like it. That looks nice. Here are the points. And back on the loud pedal. Platform stairs? In what sense? As in like an overbridge? Or like a subway? Or like at the end of a platform? Because unless it's a particularly difficult size, I would recommend just getting one of the little N-gauge overbridge kits, if it's what I think it is. Not because I don't want to do it, but because you'll get a better result. I've got some somewhere. Couldn't tell you where. They're the, I think, Kestrel kit ones. They're very nice to work with. Yeah, no, I'm happy to try some. It's just the Kestrel ones are rather nice. Other ones that probably exist as well, or are more available. I haven't bought anything like that in a very long time. That one thing I think I did get at one point was a you know the footbridge on Millhouse Lane? I'm pretty sure at one point the club sold a second pack of one of those bridges, and I've not looked at it yet because it's inconveniently big. But it was a nice thing to get for future purposes. Only front diesel has a driver. Maybe I should be driving like back diesel. Maybe they'll introduce a class 13 to the game eventually. It would be kind of awkward. That's the thing. Can they introduce a class 13 to the Thomas and Friends franchise without causing issues. Okay. Yeah, because at least the traditional nomenclature for these things, as it has been for a lot of things, is the master and slave unit. So the master unit has the cab, and the slave unit is just the engine, like all the all the gubbins without a cab. Hello, Laura Jones. Green. Yeah, I don't know if they'd be comfortable using that nomenclature, because I think they've got a similar thing with coding now, where you're meant to use different language, and I don't know, it's how it's always been referred to with all of the things that I work with, in that sense, where it's the, you can have the master control box, and then the subsidiary, I think is what they're meant to call it now, I don't remember. But, basically the front loco would have no cab, or a very cut down cab with just the control gear duplicated, so that the primary loco drives them both. Oh yeah, that's the other question. Okay, you do that in Thomas, right? Which one gets the face? Is it the front of the engine because it's a pair? Or is it the both of them because they're a pair? Or how does that work? See, unanswerable Thomas questions. I mean, they've just got loads of 08s and like maybe 9s and 10s, I'm not too sure. But it's still... yeah. What am I doing? Waffling, yes. I've got loads of work I should be doing, and every time I look at something on my desk or my shelves, I go, oh yeah, I should work on that. And one of them at the moment is low fits. Not low fits. Low max. I should probably work on my low fit as well. It's around here somewhere. It's going to be really awkward to sign right because the body's only about 5mm tall. But, I'm sure it'll be fine. So, where even is... okay, 10 miles that way. I've been driving now for about half an hour. There's still 10 miles to go. Well... maybe I should have used a more aesthetically pleasing or faster locomotive. In fact, you know what I can do? Because I'm a terrible person. Where's the next station? Miles away. Oh no, well, I said miles away. It's Kildane is the next station. Brain. Right. I'm not sure if it's going to interrupt it, so I want to get past the signal. You know what? We'll improvise slightly because I know it works. So we've got a good amount of brake force from these two, which, given they've got 20 on the back plus 2 brake vans, they're not really slowing down very quickly. Oh, that's very, very poor brake force as it happens. Okay. Now, will this upset it? So what we're going to do, we're going to get... now, Gordon's got awful brakes, but he's fast. But Emily's got pretty good brakes. I think James. Why can't I put James down? Why can't I put James down? Can I not put him in the same section? Is that a thing? Oh. Huh. I guess that's a thing. Okay, well, apparently we're not going to do that. At Kildane, I will put James on the train. Yeah. That's looking tidy. So I'm just noticing that my surgical scar is looking a bit better than it was. I know, relevant to the conversation in the live stream. I'm a bit distracted. Now that is a nice, like, morning lighting. Kind of what I had yesterday. It was the fun trip up through town to get to the railway, and my housemaid had the heating on all night, so I woke up quite warm. Was like, oh, it's a nice day. I went, right, shorts and t-shirt, let's go. Stepped outside, out of the 21 degrees heat of inside to the 4 degrees outside. So that was a bit of a, ooh, that's chilly. But, you know, not the worst thing, just a bit of a, oh, it is not actually that warm. Cow. Oh yeah, there are cowlings in the field near the bus stop. It's very nice. They weren't near the bus stop, unfortunately, but they were in that field. Nice big stone bridge. I don't know if you can set trains to auto drive on here, because presumably you must be able to some amount, because otherwise how would you, you know, set anything up for, like, filming or whatever if you're like, ah yes, I'm going to have, you know, this train passing this train, and short of just having one of them parked, or running it on the regular service timetable. This is proving a little bit more boring than I intended. However, I will get to Kildane. I will put a faster engine on the front, and then I will see if I can watch the train rather than drive the train actively. So, I mean, you know, I can just chill back here. It's very quiet. Watch the wagons jumping up and down slightly. It's a pretty smooth track, considering the wagons are jumping that much, but I suppose it's better than them being completely rigid. We're nearly at the station, so we should probably slow down. Okay, we're slowing down reasonably quickly. Okay, what type of station is this? It is a two-line through station, so I'm not actually near the platform. Well, that print is just finished. That one's finished, so I've got one more print to do, and that order is finished off. Just waiting to hear back from them if they want any specifics. Actually, no, two prints need to do the overhead line covers. Right, so I'm going to slow down, continue slowing down, continue slowing down, slow down some more. I'm going to go up to the signal and stop there. Okay, so you can start pretty well from less than 10 miles an hour. It feels like the momentum changes a bit depending on the speed. So we are going to spawn in a Jim the Red engine. So, set path to, I guess, there. So it won't let me do that until I have cleared the path for this one. Oh, I've got the points. I did contact the signaller just then, right? There we go, right. So we're just going to clear the points, back down onto ooh, I've not got a signal. I probably made poor decisions doing that, but never mind. So I need to back. Ooh, and I've made poor decisions here because I'm, I think, inside the signal at both ends. So I can't back up too far because then I'll be outside of the. Okay. So, set path. Straight on through to Knapford. Now I can't get a signal here because I'm already in the section. My next signal is clear, so let's go. Now, this should go a bit quicker. And I will look at messages shortly. I'm looking at the chat messages. The last one is Laura Jones saying, Diesel! To which the answer is, yes. That's a bit more brisk. Have to drag the poor diesels. Maybe I'll take James up to the quarry with me. Now, I've got a line speed option when these wagons really shouldn't be doing above 40. However, I don't think Diesel is happy about this. Look at those rods. You can't even see them. You can just see the bearing in the middle. Oh, we're up to 50, so that's better. Right, I'm going to get up to a nice cruise of 60 and I'll have a look at that message so I can add to the conversation. Sigma's green, right. Oh, right. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do the railings very nicely, but I can have a go. Yeah, should be viable. Alright, so that's me caught up. Just checking it's nothing urgent I need to deal with, and the answer to one of those questions was yes, it is actually. Right. As I've got the line speed, I'm going to make the most of it. That's a very shiny view for the morning. I don't think I can do the brick detail at 2mm to the foot, because the bricks would be 1.5mm long each. Ish. Not with my machines, at least. I could try, but... I think this is Gordon's Hill. 20 wagons on the back isn't that much. From what I gather with Trampy's Loudmouth episode, James has 45 trucks up this hill. I don't know if that includes brake vans or not. Right, and down the other side. How fast can we go at the bottom? $58, $60. Now we're nearly at the bottom of the curve. This is where James takes a tumble, I think. I really should finish that other tank wagon because it's on my desk. I've got all the bits for it somewhere. 76, 77. Right, 4 miles to go now. Going a bit quicker. Nearly up to 80. This is definitely inadvisable. I've got to think about speed restrictions as well now. Well, 3 miles. No, so I might be down the club Sunday. Also, it seems I've got some admin work to do at least. That might bring some stuff to run. That's one. I meant to ask if we had the new fish plates yet. I will do that shortly, but I'll charge my phone as well. So I've got some myself, but some is not enough, I don't think. But it would mean that we can run more stuff outside, because I want to be able to. Self-interest is a great motivator. I really should get that steel carrier finished painting, even if I don't use it particularly much. It's a wagon with wheels in, and therefore should be on the get on with it pile. think it's 36 fish plates in a pack. I've got some over there, but I'm a bit too driving at the moment to, you know, deal with that. We can burst out into the sunshine. 50-mile-an-hour speed restriction coming up. How good are the brakes? Not good at all. You'd think with 3 locos you'd have pretty good braking. No, we're going to be a little overspeed. Oh, we're nearly at Knapford. Oh, okay. That went a lot quicker than I remember. Nice. Oh, that's as bad. No, it isn't. Other signal was down. Okay. I need to continue slowing down and be paying attention. So, turning off into the yard. Now, the question is... Ah, there's not actually a direct route to do it. I should have run through the station. Whoops. Well, I think, based on that oopsie, I will leave this particular train here once I've brought it to a stop, and then do something a little bit more involved. However, I'm very quickly going to turn off the 2 now idle printers, just so they're not keeping the room warm. So I will be a few moments. Are we in the side? Oh, we're actually comfortably in the side. That's not so bad. Hooray! Now... I need to... I don't think you can. I'm going to go for a quick walk down to the other end of the train, just to be sure. And see if it can self-drive. It'd be kind of neat if you could. Safety door. Dun 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 dun. So. Ah! I do not have the option to set a path from here. Excellent. Okay. Can't set a path from there either. Can't set a path from any of them because I am not in the cab. Well, that's a bit boring. Right, I'll be back in just a moment, and I will resume. Nice. That's one. That's cold as well. Nice. That up there. Rattle, rattle, rattle. Would you be insulted if someone just purchased them off eBay? I don't know what you mean. Like if you just got the steps off eBay? No. I don't work in Engage. Engage is tiny. Right. Admin, done. Right, whose challenges was I close to getting done? Percy. Need to do 2 missions driving as Percy. And then I get the Health Skelter. So, Percy timetable missions. Right, Farquhar Tidmouth. 13 minutes, should be quite easy. Oh, I've just realised. It's just Percy. So this isn't going to count. Got the signal. I should probably redo that ZDV at some point. Power! So apparently Percy can't pull more than 5 wagons. I really want to try this sometime. Because I'm sure I've had Percy pulling more wagons than that. Also, if you were here for my plans of potentially putting a Toby shell over a Percy, the issue I've got is the cylinders on the B4 are as wide as the sort of useful loading gauge, so I'd have to make a very wide Toby, which I don't think I want to do. So I will do a refurbished Toby, and I do plan to do a LNER Toby, but it will be the correct, or the same as the previous one. Oh, I can actually accelerate with this one. It actually, you know, it goes when you say power. It's not just power. Yep, still doing 3 miles an hour. Still says Thomas's point of view. Brain. No, I need to do a load of stuff, but until we've got the outside track working, it's all kind of moot. So, yeah. There's a limit to what I can, excuse me, run outside. Doing a timetable mission that doesn't have a timetable. Because I don't think they count, which is a bit of a shame. How big that buffer looks. The weird dip in the ceiling. Yeah. Back before the days of automatic crossing barriers. Oh dear. The only option for if you have a level crossing is you have somebody who's the crossing keeper. They open and close the gates themselves, and then, you know, I think they've got a block instrument to let them know when the trains are coming. And they think they've got a lever each way to say that the gates are clear and, you know, the train can proceed. So they're a very, very limited signal box. I think it is literally 2 levers. At least for a line like this. That must be a reasonably relaxed job if you've not got too many trains in the day. You know, sort of pootle about a bit, you know, tend to the garden. Must be a bit boring in winter. Yep, I'm just thinking about all these little crossings now that are automatic. And all of those used to be someone's job. trotters. Presumably the pig farm. 2.5 miles. What? 2.5 miles, I've got a speed restriction in 1.5 miles time. Tidmouth. Oh, Tidmouth carriage siding head shunt. Okay. That's the one where I go all the way up to Tidmouth, and I'm not quite sure why. Because there's not really anything to do there, and it seems to be facing the wrong way. There's Ells Bridge. Got the green signal there. I probably should have been checking more often. Thomas is in theory around here somewhere. Where is Thomas? Yeah, I've got greens the whole way. Where is Thomas? Did I just go past Thomas and not notice? Yes, yes I did. What? Was he on the balloon loop and I just didn't notice? Oh well. Apparently I missed Thomas. Good, I guess. I didn't hit him. Oh yeah, because it's now nice and summery, I've set my sun lamp to only come on for 4 hours a day now. Because I've noticed that some of my plants were already twisting towards the proper sun. And I don't want to confuse them, so it just comes on a bit in the evening to try and, you know, fill up the sunshine in the day for now, and then I'll turn it off when it's summer proper. But yeah, it's been pleasant. Brain. Yeah, so 40-ton stone trucks, then probably the TEAs, then a few other things probably. It really depends what I fancy running, because I've got a load of stone wagons as well, all my PGAs I could run. And I've got a load of mixed tanks. And it's always just that case of, oh, well, what do I want to run this weekend? Or what do I want to do? And it's always, which one? Because I've got a load of stuff I haven't run in ages, just because it doesn't really fit into anything. Or some stuff that basically hasn't run. Like my ammonia tank. Where am I going to run an ammonia tank on its own? It's a vacuum-only, no air pipe wagon, so I don't know. Could run it with my ESO set. It's a tank, technically, you know. It's a bit of an odd one. I think that would run in more of a mixed goods, and the mixed goods set I've not run in a long time. But I've got loads of bits that can run in that set. I should probably fix my fish van and possibly build it a friend with better brakes. I've got so many things I want to do. This is the thing of I've got nearly 400 kits. Now, not all of those are finished, not all of those are complete. Some of them are duplicates, but it still gives me dozens at least of options for what I want to run. So it's like my tank train is 7 or 8 different tanks that are already built, and I just need to put bogies on some of them. But it's not very exciting. It's not got a lot of sort of ooh factor, other than ooh, it's a long train. Same with my minerals, to be fair. My minerals, for the average person looking at them, is, yeah, it's a load of coal trucks. Which is true, however. Oh. We've got James. Have I got the signal ahead of James? Wow, I feel rude that I'm, you know, late, I guess. Did I really strike into the section before the express? That's... okay. I did. I am totally cutting James off. You'd think James would get the priority. It would actually be kind of preferable if he did, because... wait, no he doesn't. No, there's no reason James had to stop there. Like, there is no reason James had to stop. I could be completely out of the way. He could be completely out of the way. There we go, he's starting again. Chuff. Oh, that's a thought. I could make a port of power tank engine called Chuff, which is what its original name was going to be. Because the locomotive currently called Alfred, when it was ordered, I believe it was ordered so it would be called Chuff. However, Bagnalls misread that as Cough and went, that's a weird name for an engine, so didn't provide plates. I think it was Alfred. Because they originally had the loco Punch, then they had Judy to go with. Tidmouth carriage signage. So I think it was Alfred that was meant to be Chuff. I've got a massive book on Bagnalls under my desk. It's very boring, unfortunately. I was hoping it would have, you know, diagrams or anything like that. No, it's just a very big encyclopedia type book on Bagnalls. Which is one of those things like, oh man, if that wasn't going to a good cause, I would be much less interested in owning that. It was like 50 quid, but I got it at in like a gift shop at a heritage line, so, you know, it went to a good cause, and it was clear that they had quite a few of them they were trying to get rid of, but... Percy, please stop. There we go. So it seems that all trains coming this way are brought to a stop so that they don't overrun into the goods yard. Because that's the last signal. After that, there are no signals until you leave. It's a very loud bit of road there. I feel like this carriage shed could be bigger. I mean, it's massive, don't get me wrong. Like, it's wide, but, like, longer. Because once I've coupled up, I will demonstrate how much of the coach is actually in the shed. I'm pretty sure it's one of them. That was a bit rough. Just going to free roam quickly. Yeah, so a whole one carriage is in the shed. Ah, no, it just didn't feel like the most efficient use of a shed. So, main menu. Let's go for another timetable mission that actually requires timetabling. Tidmouth sheds to Tidmouth. Knapford to Tidmouth Yard. Oh, it's all shunting. Tidmouth to Farquhar, that's a light engine move. That's a light engine move. That's a non-timed move. There we go. That's a timed move. Eee. Well, I hope everyone's had a nice week so far. Mine's actually been surprisingly good, considering I started it feeling really, really ill. Nearly left without doing anything useful. Put my headlamp on. Right. I've got 30 seconds to wait. Where is my phone charger? It's probably in my room. Brilliant. Right, well, I'm not going to charge that for right now then. What am I doing? Many such times is the question. Right, I think what I'm going to work on this evening is going to be more of my 40-ton hoppers. Because I've got buffers printed for them. So they'll be fairly easy to get finished up. Although I might work out what parts are required and just print buffers. Rather than using full sets of couplings and then having loads of bits left over. So, Hackenbeck, which is 900 yards away. Will I make it? Got quite nice electric lighting in the coaches. I think it's electric lighting and not gas lighting. I don't know, would someone like to convince me otherwise? $300 yards and 45 seconds to do it. Very wide bridges. I'm not complaining about the wide bridges, it's just they're noticeably wide. Well, it's very Wellsworth has the wrong station sign, so I kind of want to go there and look at it before they fix it. Right, as much as I could have been very slightly early, it'd be seconds early. Oh, you're really doing that, game? Fine, fine, I will pull forwards 6 yards. That was rude. It seems very determined about where specifically I park on these really long platforms. Wait until 31. At the back of that sign. That sign's the wrong side of the lamppost. I've not noticed that bug before. That's fun. Right. A few seconds to go. I've already got the signal. And off we go to Mayfwaite. And hopefully this mission will count as a mission for the challenge mode. Now I'm assuming there will be more challenges that will come up in future that will let you fill out that screen, because there's a whole load more than there are options. This is a poster for each of the 6 locos, that's 6. And there's 5 fairground ride things, or 5 fairground attractions I should say. Back into the tunnel we go, to Thomas's point of view. I do wonder when I'm going to hear about the box for my Black 5. I need to find out where I messaged them. I might have been on Facebook, I don't remember. In fact, it probably was Facebook. It really doesn't feel quite so quick when you're in first-person camera. So, going into the left-hand loop. Don't know if Thomas has got any trains running this evening. Because there's enough double-track stations on this branch line that you could set up multiple passenger services quite easily. I'd like to hope they've done that on purpose, because it'd be quite nice in the future to have, you know, like Toby and Henrietta. Or Daisy. Oh, are you for real? This game is being a lot more picky than I remember. I think that's one of the things they've adjusted in the patch notes is, you know, as long as you're in the station, it's not going to be like, no, you've got to move that extra 2 yards, or you don't get to pass the mission. Well, 1:20. I could go and get me my phone charger. Conversely, those are 16-inch buffers. That is the roof off a little van. Let's put it with the little van. There we go. That is a van kit. That is a very, very battered... what's that? That's shark buffers. That's a set of 24x16s. What are these off? Oh, that's ammonia tank bits. Right, well they can go in there for now. Actually, no, those aren't ammonia tank kits. Those are 20-foot container tanks. Right, I now have this hopper, which has 2 knackered buffers, because neither of them spring. I don't know if the springs themselves are broken. The couplings aren't brilliant. However, it is otherwise mostly complete, and it shouldn't take too much work to get it back in service. So that will be a fun job for this evening. Lock doors. I am late. Late. Getting distracted by the things I'm distracting myself with. Yeah, try and get all my 40-ton hoppers nicely painted up. And then on to the next task, which I think the next build I want to do is going to be, as much as I want to build more 40-ton hoppers, because I've now got 2 of them on my desk. The third one, that I've been referencing for a while, I can't find it, or it's just a sea lion hopper that I haven't started yet. But it's specifically a sea lion, or a sea cow. I might build a sea cow. And not a walrus, which it was originally going to be, if it is that one. Which means I will have a mere 4 walrus, until I eventually get around to building more of them. However, it then once again becomes the question, do I want 3 engineers black walruses, or 2 engineers black walruses and 2 Dutch ones? Or I can curveball it further and go for olive green. I don't think any of them ended up in Gulf red. Don't think so. Although at some point I do want to do a London South Western Railway one. Purely because I hate having, you know, space. Although to be fair, I could have that bogie sharing with another wagon, because other than the time, it doesn't really cost me anything to build my own wagons. And you know, time is what you make of it. Right, we are at, I think, Elsbridge. Yep. I mean, it says the top left of the screen, but you know, let's pretend I'm blind. So yeah, so originally I was going to see my lovely young lady at the weekend. However, with me doing this on the Saturday, it's kind of made that not really viable, and that's unfortunate. But I will hopefully see her next week. Brave. What am I doing? I'm continuing to ramble about stuff I'm meant to be working on. I've got a load of containers to paint and some container flats. That'll be a fun job sometime. Almost all of them appear to just be in red oxide when I've seen container trains going past. A lot of containers, at least the deep sea ones, tend to be basically a one-trip vehicle. So they're made quite cheaply because as long as they work, that's all they need to do. As the Chinese export market is significantly bigger than their import market, so a lot of the time the containers go one way because you won't really bother sending an empty container back. I mean, there's some stuff goes back, but not as much. And I'm doing that thing again where I'm getting distracted. Hurry, hurry, hurry. There's the hot air balloon. Being mildly ominous. I do wonder if Cammy will have a video out for this evening for the sheep game lambing. And I think he took a few days off, which is honestly advisable, because, yeah, he takes a few days off of uploading YouTube videos. He's still being a farmer, like, 20 plus hours a day at the moment in lambing season. He's a busy man. Along with his, you know, wife and kids that he's got to work with, deal with, however you want to frame it. As much as Jock and Angus, I'm sure, would like to help out more, at least some of the time, they are not really old enough to be doing too much. And given that I don't think Bonnie was walking this time last year, that's she's a few years off, I think, yes, before she'll be doing too much. No, which one is it? The one? What is it? The one that was yesterday's video that I watched this morning. I think a few of his cows have calved as well, so he's, yeah, very busy. Lots of tiny animals, very cute. Yep, dry oil's the next stop. Good. I was going to say, was I meant to stop there? No. There's like one train a day, I think, to Sportsfield Hall. It's one of those like, huh. How do people get there? One of the farms, I don't know which one. There is the Harbour Junction. The more I play this game, the more I want to make some of these coaches. However, I do have my book on Southern Railway coaches, so that's a thing I'll be looking at, is seeing if I've got relevant ranks. It's only the pre-grouping and post-grouping coaches. So it's got the LBSC, the London South Western, that kind of thing, and then the BR Mark 1 coaches. Which is perhaps a little boring, and there is a first book in the series that has the actual Southern coaches, which will cover like the Ansel, Maunsell, the main ones for the Southern. But the customer that I've got the book for doing the work from was particularly wanting the pre-grouping ones. So it might be that I can get some express coaches out of it that will do the job, or at least a couple that will do as nice branch line coaches for my my Not an E2. Uh, 40 more seconds, okay.
Listening to my printer sounding slightly unhealthy, which is why I'm being a bit quieter so I can listen when I've got a moment. Apologies for the dead air. 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 There is some dead air.
Right. I want to do so many things, and I have no particular energy to actually do them right now, but I want to. The motivation is there. Not got a signal at this station, so we're going to keep on going. Chuff, 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 chuff. That's quite wholesome. No, might be a project to look for in the future is making some G-gauge branch line coaches for Percy. I need to finish James's ones first. We'll get there eventually. Always lots to do, always more I want to be doing. So, Knapford Platform 1. So Thomas has Platform 2. I think Emily is Platform 3. I think James is Platform 4. Gordon being Platform 5 makes sense. So in theory, all their trains could be at the station at the same time. That would just be somewhat impractical. So, speed restriction for the bridge. Do they? Oh, right. I've not seen those. But they're going to be like, what, 90 quid each? Isn't that 70 or 90? Something like that. They're a lot, I know that much. And they're nice, don't get me wrong. But are they 70, 80 quid nice? I mean, you know, I do own a Mavis, to be fair, so... Oh, signal's dropping as I approach, that's helpful. We are going platform 1. It'd be nice to have some branch line coaches to run with my little Percy. Right, it is an hour and a half into the stream. They do Toby's Museum coaches in G. They do Henrietta. I know they do the Henrietta in the double O gauge. Auf Wiedersehen. Please don't try and get in the train, it terminates here. What did I just say? Guys, come on. Right, you're going to the carriage sidings. Did that count? It did. Both of those counted. Oh, alright then. Well, let's see if what's the mission after the one I've just done? Let's try this one then. Brown cream. Interesting. Could you send me a picture of those when you get time? Just so I can get the right ones. Because this is all news to me. Again, I'm this terrible dinosaur that has read the books. I don't get why they had to turn the turntable round. Like, surely it would already be facing the right way. It's a turntable. You drive on, you drive off. So it's Henrietta, Hannah, and Victoria that are all... What? How did I fail the objective? I'm on the turntable! I don't know how I failed that. Like... Let's have a look-see. As you've kindly sent me the picture. Oh, right. Oh, those actually look quite nice. Yeah, no, those coaches are quite nice. That's a candidate for I paint the ends black. As you do with some carriage stock in certain eras. Like the mainline stock over there, for example. And then you can just have each side be a different colour. So they've got slightly different roofs to Annie and Clarabelle, but otherwise they're functionally the same, except they've not got faces. And I actually have plans to make the faces for Annie and Clarabelle. For my model I'm going to build at some point, because again, if I've got a better Thomas, I might as well have a better Annie and Clarabelle. Although, I can't really make another one. The reason being, all of the drawings for that Thomas, gone. So I could make a copy, and I've got all the STLs still, so I could do it that way, but it's a bit more work. Although, as he does look a lot more like Thomas than my previous Thomas, perhaps he'll be a bit more wanted. Now, moving on to coaching stock, so I have to contact the signalman. There we go. I just think they look quite nice. That livery looked quite nice on my little Hornby four-wheeler coach that I really need to finish. Those are definitely a project I want to get done this year. I'll be optimistic and say this year. So I've got 3 of those, and I've got a little pair of Kaylee Pugs to finish. Got 1 done so far, and I've got a Smoky Joe, but I'm not going to count that one. And once I've got those, I'll have my own little Hornby train set. And I have had Holly be the terrible person for recommending the, ooh, why didn't I try more of the Hornby starter set, but in O-gauge? To which the answer is, probably, yeah. So there's a few that I could do quite easily. Right, let's do the main menu thing. Is it gonna work today? Challenger! No! Excellent, right. Do another one then. Lots of these are very boring. Tidmouth to Farquhar light engine is not you know, a brilliant use of my time. Dropping off his own coaches, collecting Gordon's coaches, collecting Emily's coaches, and then heading to bed. So we'll start back at the beginning of the day. Collecting coaches, collecting coaches. Takes quarry workers from Knapford to Farquhar. Well, I guess we'll drive back up the line then. What am I doing? Yes, I'm going to try and get a lot more stuff finished. Oh, yeah. I'm not allowed to go until I've done the whole letting the passengers into the train thing. I'd imagine they'd want to do that. Brain. No, I'm going to try and make some... well, in fact, I've got the book next to me and I've got 35 seconds. That'll be enough time, right? Do we have any express-looking coaches in this nice book? And the answer is... I don't think there's any corridor stock, but... oh, that's cute. Is that 257 Squadron? 34086. I don't remember. Is it on the label? Anyway, we'll look at that again in a bit, because I need to go and do the whole driving the train thing. Power. Percy isn't very enthusiastic off the line. Oh, come along. We're slightly late. Oh, straight to Farquhar. Oh, nice. That's me a easy one then. Right, I don't have to pay attention quite so much. Let's look more through this book. So the front cover, not front cover, the front page has a Battle of Britain at Yeovil Junction. Title page, Bullier Battle of Britain, 219 Squadron. 219, never mind. Right. So, we've got branch line sets. We've got 2 coach sets, cross-country sets, Somerset and Dorset stock. They're Mark 1s. So have a quick look at the S&D, which is page 186. Page 186, let's try and open it to the right one. Ooh, that's some reasonably nice looking stuff. I think that's a Mark 1 though. And yes, I'm being somewhat negligent while basically not looking where I'm driving. So, Somerset and Dorset, do they have any nice bogey stock? And I don't think the answer is yes, because this all predates 1922. Or I have a 1923, but 1922 up to. Right. This is Mark 1 stock. These are quite nice drawings for Mark 1s. Right, let's put a bit more power on. Well, I described to you some exciting bits from the book, so I've got 15 mile an hour coming up in a mile. So, climb up this bank. As much as I probably shouldn't, I could do Mark 1 stuff. It would be relevant for the requirements. Does it have... Oh, it will actually have good dimensional drawings for Mark 1 stuff. Excellent. Actually, this was a much better purchase than I thought. Because I want to make better Mark 1s, and to do that I need the dimensions for the Mark 1s, and these are 4mm scale drawings. Is that any good? Yeah, variety of stock there. I've already got all the bogies and the chassis, so that's not a problem. It's got whole formation listings, that's very nice. Composite open. Oh, and the nice green livery. And then all of the other ones. Anyway, right, so it doesn't look like we've got particularly much choice in bogie coaches. There's a few in there. with me flicking through. But I suppose Annie and Clarabelle aren't bogey stock, are they? So I think a nice Southern Railway twin set, or branch line set, will do the job for them. And it might just be that I make more Mark 1 stock for my mainline stuff, and I think I want to do Blood and Custard. Because as much as it doesn't really go with a lot of stuff, it goes with more stuff, because it'll go with... Ooh, when do they bring in the plain maroon livery? About 1951, I want to say? I don't remember. But that ran up... The maroon ran up to the 60s, and then any repaints. So there's a lot of scope for maroon stuff. The Crimson and Cream runs 1948 onwards, so that's an option. Up until it gets phased out by stuff being painted maroon, because it's never a clear cut-off, because you don't go, oh, it's, you know, we've got this new livery, right, all the coaches are now in that colour scheme. No, because they'll normally be on, I think it's 7 to 10 year overhauls for painting. So unless, like, there's time or desire to do it, the coaches won't be repainted until, well, I think it's what, say 1962 is when they bring in the corporate livery with the blue and grey. So it could very well be that in 1970 there were still maroon coaches kicking about, but it would probably be most of the sort of secondary use, less frequent use, boring coaches, and a lot of your first class, a lot of your sort of named train sets would have all been done quite quickly. And I'm looking forward to there being more blue-grey at the Great Central, because they've only got one at the moment. Although more of them are in the queue, it's just whatever takes priority. And I think there was one of the Pullman kitchens was up on the lifts on Wednesday. They've had the veranda coach through the workshop, through the paint shop, sorry. I think the week before. So, you know, they're not idle over there. It's just there's a lot of work goes into them. So, but it will be nice to see a blue-grey set at some point. Although I think it's going to have a maroon brake, as the brake that was going to go with it is now the second accessibility coach, and it's lovely inside. They've done a lovely job of it. It's just a shame it's maroon. But obviously they've got it to run with the maroon set because you want to have an accessible coach in your primary running stock. So having one in the dining train and one in whichever set the maroon ones are is a good plan. And then you think there's the... I think they might be doing similar work, but just in the sort of brake portion of some of the brake coaches. Obviously the BG being a full brake means you've got the whole coach to play with. And they are, again, they're lovely. I really want to actually travel in some of these vehicles that I've seen go through the workshop, rather than just, you know, seeing them go past occasionally. Although, Saturday, I shall basically not be sitting down on a comfy passenger seat the entire duration, I don't think. And I'm not sure if I'm going to even actually have a general ticket to ride, because I'm going to be on stewarding all day, so I don't think it's worth me getting a train ticket. Although if I do a trip on the line, obviously I will be paying for my ticket, as is how you meant to do it. I feel like I'm forgetting something important with this train that I'm driving right now. I'm very much not paying attention. I'm used to stopping at these stations. I think that's what it is. Well, I've got 4 minutes to get to Farquhar, and it is allegedly 1.3 miles away. However, it twists and turns like a twisty-turny thing. Right, what am I doing? Yes, that's the thing I need to work on. Oh, I've now finished my 5 dogfish. I can now somewhat justify making a new one. However, I have a load of drawings I've taken, not drawings, photographs. I need to do the drawings, photographs for the dogfish, so I want to make a better one. I also need to measure things, because all the dogfish I've got up there are slightly different. Like, I've got some of them with the hopper offset far too much, some of them with that bit corrected. I think I've got some later ones that are a bit better, but they're still not brilliant. I don't actually know, were they the worst ones? I don't remember. Oh, I've put my headlamp on, of course it's taken the accelerator off. No, I want to make some new ones that are nicer, and that means I need to actually get around to doing that. And as I was planning to do a repaint job on some of them, that was going to be the opportune time to do it. However, I don't know when that's happening now, so it might be that I just work from the photos for now and see how I can get on. Because they've got horribly intricate brake linkages and all that nonsense underneath. Bits of it go through the hopper. It's all... Oh, pretty big. It's all quite a lot to deal with. But, as I've tried to say at least, unless it's a customer order, I'm not going to work on it until I've got some other things finished. That was a red aspect and a green signal. Alright. Whistle for the bridge. Distance signal down. We are good to go. We have been through Ackenbeck. Now we have Farquhar closing in rapidly. Distance signal down. Again. Home signal at red. I think it's just the lighting rather than the arm. Right. Apply the brakes. Because yes, I've got 500 yards, but I've got 500 yards. And I've got a minute that I'm early. The schedules are actually quite tight if you can be, I say only a minute, but only a minute of slack in them. Oh, there's Diesel. I shall have to remember to honk at him when I get there. That's a good point. I don't think there was... I don't know if there was the boxes on the track when I pulled into Knapford earlier. I don't know. May just be inconsistencies, it may be little things that are actually wrong, I don't know. It don't really bother me too much, the game works plenty well enough. There's plenty worse. Right, now I think I have to do the balloon loop first, and then drop the coaches back into that siding. But I've got a minute to wait. So on that note, I shall spend another minute looking through my book of carriages. So I want a couple of nice branch line carriages. 2 coach branch line sets, page 30. Well, those are rather cute. Oh, 42 foot over body. That's tiny. That's about as big as a ballast hopper. Very cute. I think that would make a nice Annie and Clarabelle. 3 foot 6 inch wheels. Bit difficult, but that's fine. So they've got 30 seconds. I'm trying to think. So they've got, that's an old third. That's an old. That's a good. Yeah, a guard third. That's a composite. Oh, that's nice. It's got a not one of them things. And I've done that thing again where I'm not paying attention and the time has expired. To the balloon loop. But not too quickly, because I've got to wait for the signal. I can't go. The signal's not green. Now the signal's green. Power! Right. 20 miles an hour. Will this be enough to get the Helter Skelter? Or will I have to do another mission? I'm surprised this is part of the mission and not part of the putting the coaches away. Maybe it's to allow Diesel to leave, although I've got the section, so Diesel can't leave. Because I've got the token. Well, realistically I've got the token. I mean, I am in a signal control area, however that's... You can't send a train up to the quarry unless... There must be a signal cabin at the quarry, because otherwise how else do you know, let anyone know that you're coming? Yeah, I definitely feel like if I had driven this more before when I was looking for all the hats and stuff, I would have found the hat around here. But I didn't like doing the passenger missions, and then I didn't realise you had to do them to get the achievements. And they've somewhat grown on me, but I do like the freight ones more. Freight doesn't worry about being in quite the right place on the platform. Oh, look at the couplings just gently doing their jobs. There you go, closing in again as I slow down. Pressing up close. Now, that'd be quite a rough ride for the passengers. So, realistically, you'd want the coaches coupled tight to one another so they don't bounce around. Which is why you've got screw couplings and not free links. However, functional screw links in O-gauge are not exactly hard to come by, but they're quite expensive and quite fragile in my experience. So... there we go. Right. Was that enough? Challenges. Hey, we got it. So, Helter Skelter is achieved. So who's next? Gordon. Gordon missions. I think we've got time to do a Gordon mission. And that will help us by driving past the Helter Skelter. So it is just drives Gordon, complete free story missions. Or other missions. Doing quite a lot of Gordon stuff. So, Vickerstown to Knapford. Yeah, I'd like to go to Knapford soon. I'm tired.
That was intended to be a pun, just so we're on the same page. Should also go make myself some dinner. That's a thing.
I'll probably be paying more attention if I'd eaten something recently. I had some cheesecake. It was nice. However, cheesecake is not dinner. Still can't get over how small Gordon's firebox is. Look at it, it's tiny. Uh, 20 seconds to go.
I will probably have another reasonably train-filled
Weekend ahead of me. What kind of cheesecake? So it was a banoffee pie, but it's functionally cheesecake. It was It was one of those things where it's like, ooh, I could get 2 slices of, like, cheesecake for the same price as an entire cheesecake. However, I should not eat an entire cheesecake, even if I want to. So getting the 2 slices of fresh is better than getting a frozen one and then dealing with an entire frozen cheesecake. Because as much as it'd be nice. Yeah. I wasn't paying attention to the speed restrictions there, but it's been fine so far. Lot of hats. Speaking of lots of hats, I wonder if there'll be a Toby mission on the mainland. Because Toby will have to be added to the game eventually. I can't see how they won't. And, you know, the Hat family gets to meet him on his original railway. So I wonder if that'll be a little flashback, or if it'll be a... Did the show have it so that Toby's old line was on the island of Sodor, but wasn't the Northwestern Railway? Power! Distance signal down. I need to remember to get my... Yeah. Once the track is sorted, I will have to bring my A3 down so I can give it a good run. As my Sunstar will pass quite well as Gordon. I hope. He's not got the right tender, he's got a... Got an LNER or a Great Northern tender? I think he's got the Great Northern tender. I don't remember. Either way, he's got a Eastern Region tender, not a Midland tender, which is what this one has. Because that is not an LNER tender. No, I've got plans to do a Toby soon, because that's one of those skive off. It's a quick one to do, and it's making a LNER Toby, and possibly just another better Toby. Although I might work on the current one I've got, because I'm not making the new one. So I might just be able to make an LNER Toby. You know, it looked quite nice. I think it's Ipswich Docks illustrations, and I think that's a Christopher Audrey book. Well, I'm looking forward to, I think it's Richard Audrey will be potentially writing some more books soon. Well, I'm not sure. That seemed to be implicated, at least. Along with, what is it, season 25? Of the, we're not going to talk about the animated one. I can never remember what it's actually called, because I just know by the stupid name. All engines go. There we go. Ooh, 92. I'm actually going too fast. Let's go faster. Faster, faster, faster. I gotta stop in less than a mile's time. Oh, when you're going this fast, you cover so much distance. Oh, there's Emily. Okay. Let's slow down more. Oh, 15? Don't throw a 60 down to a 15 like that. That's rude. I mean, I've managed it, but ugh. Oh, it just feels like I'm not moving anymore. Trundling past the Scarlowy sheds. I've got nearly 2 minutes. I've got nearly 3 minutes to get there. It's a nice signal box. Croven's Gate. Now I need to remember while I'm at Wellsworth to look at the signs, because apparently one of them says Farquhar. I don't know which sign, if it's the totem or the big running in board, but I feel like I'm driving sarcastically slowly. Yep, no, I need to amass a good amount of coaches for running Gordon on at the club. As I think 3, it would be nice, but 3's not really a lot, so I think it'll have to be at least 4 coaches. Possibly more, but it also depends what the A3 can actually pull. Because I've not really tried it, because it's been so horribly unreliable. Mainly by throwing its pony truck off. Or dragging it crabwise behind it. Ooh. Brain. I went far too fast apparently through there, and either I missed a station and didn't notice, or we're just really early. So. Oh, birdcage dock. That'd be a nice trio set. No, I'm just reading bits of my book and I'm going to try and say anything interesting as I'm going. Oh, there's a nice little diagram of just the bird cage. 7 foot wide. Fancy. Now, a lot of coach construction during this era is very similar, but there'd be like detail differences. Because at the end of the day, the standards are standards. That's lots of nice drawings. That is a 60-foot coach. Again, it's all single coach stock, which is fine for what I actually need it for. I'm just looking for corridor stock because I'd like to have some variety that I can chuck into a set. I've got 30 seconds. I'm going to stop there. I'll have to continue pecking away at that one until I've got that. Also, oh, that print's nearly finished. Excellent. I want to build one of those. Now that is one I'm going to build because I've not built a whale in a very long time. I want to make sure this new version of it actually works before I send it to a customer. Mainly just the hopper. Because if it doesn't join nicely, then I feel like it's going to come back. Or the customer won't, at least. Right. Double track out of Croven's Gate. Excuse me. You'd think they'd have slightly longer crossings here, given it's a main line through station a lot of the time. Still at 50 limit. I'm following the tender so it's more bouncy. There we go. So there's quite an easy option to have one side of the train be one livery and the other side be another. And I think that might be what they did on the show. I don't remember, but I know I've heard bits and pieces like that, and how there wasn't actually as much rolling stock as some of the pictures would suggest, so a lot of the trains are quite short purely because, well, imagine having to store all of it in gauge 3, it'd be enormous. I'm trying to remember what gauge 3 is now. If it's 45mm, that'd be a bit weird, because you've got gauge 1. I'm not sure what gauge 2 is. I know you've got gauge 3, there's gauge O, gauge double O, gauge HO, gauge N and Z. And they're normally increments of size. So I know gauge 1 is 10mm to the foot. O is 7. HO is 3.5. Double O is 4mm to the foot. N is 2mm to the foot. Z by that metric would be 1mm to the foot. TT is 3mm, I think? Not sure. So 3mm or 2.5? The kind of question I should maybe no answers for. They're very bouncy. Nice bridge. They've done a lovely job on the landscape in this. Nothing seems odd so far. There's a few bits which, you know, like, they've got set pieces that don't really tie into the environment. What am I doing? Nah. Sorry, Kelsthorpe Road. Ooh, okay, 61 miles an hour is rough through there, but you can do it. Okay. Well. Whoops. Oh. That's the helter-skelter. So we're going to try and actually stop at Marin. It's a pretty good helter-skelter, I'm not going to lie. Well, I feel like the Fat Controller is going to continue to be upset with me for missing at least one station every time I run this express. It's because I'm just not paying enough attention. It's a very easy drive. It's just that sit at fast and stop occasionally, and I forget the stop occasionally bit. I'm sure Emily or James will catch the passengers that I missed. I'm sure they won't be upset. I'm sure it will be a bad railway and, you know, people will complain to the Fat Controller. That tender is really throwing itself around. Wait, are there two handrails? They are two handrails, but one of them's on the cab door, which I guess is different. I should probably look at what diesels I've got on Saturday. Because I think it'll probably be most of them. I think the teddy bear is probably the one I'm going to look forward to. Just because it's a bit small. Well, that's the point. I wonder where the brake vans can be in the train. So, from what I've read, the standard 2 brake vans will be in the train, and there'll be an extra one. Now, I don't know where in the train it's going to be. Presumably, at one end, inside the train. So then I wonder which one it... Well, I'd imagine it'll be the thankyou van, that being the biggest. Now, I feel like the pillbox might be not the best option. But it could just be a 20-ton. You know, there's, I think, 3 or 4 toads on the line. The car might be an interesting one, just for the, you know, the variety. Car being a CAR, not a, you know, automobile. Which station is this? Don't know. Kildane? Yep. I'm learning. I'm slowly learning. Right, 2 miles. I need to be paying attention this time. I can't miss 2 stations. I feel like that'll be too much. I'm also thinking I'm going to have some chicken burgers later. Nice. Oh, another little station. This is... Kronk. 1.5 miles. So, Maron, and then up Gordon's Hill to Wellsworth, I think. Well, we got to 90 again. Got a mile to go. Big viaduct. You okay there, Gordon? You sneezed. Right, 1,000 yards and closing. I am full on the brakes. Will I make it in time? Probably. Well, I'm very early here, so I might go get my phone charger. Because I feel like I can only waffle for so long. And I missed that last station, so there's 4 minutes to wait. Right. I'm going to pull up to a stand here. Gonna go get my phone charger. I'm gonna check on that printer that's finished. And... there we go. Right, I will be back shortly, and then I will... oh, 5 minutes, because it's not just the early, it's the and then the waiting. Sorry about this, everyone. I should be back. Undignifiedly fall back into my chair with my feet on the table. Nice. 3 minutes to go. Almost 2. It's something. Yeah, some sugar. That will make you a bit happier. You know what? I can get out and go for a bit of a walk around, can't I? Yeah. I can understand that. Nice platform balls. Marin. Marin. No tail lamp, naughty. You okay there, coupling? Just kind of tweaking out there. Also, they've shown the gap in the link, which is kind of neat, but also another aspect of they've made a really nice model of something that's wrong. Those are cool. Can I identify these plants? No. These might be pansies. They look kind of like butterflies. A load of sleepers and stuff. There's all like bits of infrastructure everywhere, and it's like, it'd be kind of nice to see more goods options, but maybe that will come with future updates and it'll be a, you know, Donald and Douglas. Ooh, that'll be fun. Murdoch. Not thought about Murdoch in the context of this game yet. Howdy. Yeah, Murdoch could be quite fun. No, big heavy freight engine. Got the signal. It's one of the nice corrugated types too. Alright. Only one loop at the top, that's all you need. Again, none of the engines ever have to go to the water towers. Do you want to give it control? No. I'm getting there. That's not the driver's seat. That's the driver's seat. There we go. 20 seconds to go. I need to not run through stations again. It would be kinda nice if they had the signals against you so you can't run through the stations successfully. But then again, it's the Express, you know, is running a few stations such a bad thing? I mean, it's only like Kronk. Now to Wellsworth. I've got 4 minutes to do it. So I feel like there's a hill here, based on how easily I slowed down, and how hard Gordon is working to start again. But nice to see a gradient map of the line. I'm sure someone's probably made one of those by now. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh no, I was going downhill, and now I'm going uphill. Got nice sight gauges, a variety of dials that all show speed. Apart from that one. Not sure what that one's meant to be showing. It only goes up to 76, like the other ones do, but I don't know. In theory, you just go off the top of the clock after you've, like, Gordoned too much. I suppose it's got a very small whistle for such a large locomotive. It can be kind of like a little sort of peep peep type whistle of that size. Rather than the larger, throatier ones. More sort of woof than a wish. I know what I meant. Well, nearly at the top of Gordon's Hill. Me watching all of Trampy's episodes in the last few days has not helped my trying to keep my tone on this and a certain, you know, professional aspect. Edward's Hill. Because Edward nearly died. Right. Now, I'm going fast enough that the coaches are actually holding me back, because the coaches aren't pushing on my buffers. Which is odd. Oh! Oh no! Oh no! No, I've done it again! I've done it again! Okay. We're not an express all-the-way train. We're an express between places train. 15-mile-an-hour limit coming up. Oh, we nearly spattered as well. Oh, and I was doing so fast as well. Got a minute to do 400 yards. And yes, I am grumpy about it. Switched off the main line into the loop. Had to go all slowly. So apparently one of the signs says Farquhar. It's not that one. I don't think it was that one. Not that one. It's not that one. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that says Farquhar. Trundle, 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 trundle. Stop. Right, now we've got a minute to very quickly go and get better picture of... Yep. Wellsworth. However, Farquhar, brought to you by Wellsworth. Didn't Wellsworth used to be the junction for Thomas's branch line? Wellsworth also still has the stupid yard where you have to access it via a turntable. I don't like that. Like, there's no other way in. There's like the little siding over there. Over there. There we go. Right. I've already closed my doors. Oops. Well, I knew I pressed the button earlier. I forgot which button it was. I'm bad at this. But the next stop's Knapford, so as long as I actually stop, I should be alright. There we go. Gordon sounds a bit more enthusiastic when you put the power on. This should get us a lot of points. That's 6,500 and I needed 10,000 total. However, I think, because I want to make some dinner, I'm going to finish this train and then call it there for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching so far and it's not been too boring as I sit and wait at signals and stations. But that is the game, unfortunately. Brain. Yep, gonna work on more of my models. Hopefully have more to waffle on about in the meantime. Keep me occupied at least. And yeah, might get some more pictures, may even get video at the weekend, depends how I do for getting stuff done, but a trip to a model shop or a place that does very good delivery turnaround times will hopefully get us some more stuff in order. Because I don't want to get some outside running videos. Now I've got more stuff I want to run. You know, having a bit of a GC weekend. I have to see if Jack is willing to bring up his Mickey Mouse. I've got me, well, a Black 5, it'll pass. Got a now XGC Class 31. 47 might do the job, although I'm not going to paint it up as Sparrowhawk. It's a lovely lime green one. I need to fix it. It's the one that suffered a gravity-related accident, I think. Bit of an odd Doppler there. There's the barber shop. Hopefully we will get a duck at some point. And you can violently hurl him into the barber shop. Also, I think I've fixed my hard drive issues, which has very much helped with my general mood of, oh look, everything's working. That's nice. That's actually quite pleasant. And I've got a backup of everything that's fresh. I need to do a few more backups of things, but that's fairly minor in comparison. Debating if I should keep the drive attached, use it as the primary one, or just continue working off of my other drive until I get indication to not do that anymore. 9.9 of a mile, I need to halve my speed. However... oh, there we go. Oh, lovely sunshine. However, I need to be doing 50 miles an hour. And maybe I will be. Back onto the double line. 30 miles an hour. Let's drop to 40. Who's down on the quarry? Is anyone there? No. Not quarry, the harbour. I know how words go, honest. Drop down to 30. Got the signal, that helps. Still can't believe that James had to wait for Percy to go past. That was questionable. Because Percy could have gone through any of the lines, other than 1 and 2. Whereas James seems to be set for a specific platform, that's how that works. You don't want to go, oh yeah, the train that we had booked into platform 4 is now actually arriving from platform 5. I mean, that's not too bad actually. 3 to 5 would be a bit awkward, because you have to go down the subway and come back up again. Oh look, there's Percy. With a different set of express coaches. So that's 6 of them rather than 5. I think it is. So there is a even bigger express. Or an even bigger Gordon, perhaps. And trickle to a stop. And there we go. Load passengers, or that should be unload passengers, given that this train terminates here. Oh, it's Thomas. Rude. So we got Thomas, Percy and Gordon all at the station together, and we passed Emily and James on the way here, so all that we need to do is now pass Diesel. And I don't think we'll be doing that. Right, well, we're going to have a quick check-in on the challenges. Do we get any points? Not yet! That's irritating. So, on that fun note, I'm going to leave it there for now. Hope you all have a nice day, and I might be about potentially tomorrow. I'll see how I feel.